Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Han, and you should be watching this video instead of attending class the morning of Thursday, November 19th. Now, I'm recording this a week and a half in advance, so I'm assuming I'm already gone. I'm assuming I have a baby by now, but you should be watching this, and it's not going to be a full 45-minute class period. It's just going to be a mini lesson where I teach you a few skills. I go over what's happening this week, and then when you're done with this, you can use the rest of your normal class time to work on assignments and get started. So let's talk about announcements for this week. So what do you need to complete in this week? Well, first, let's just talk about a few things about the week. So week 12 started Wednesday, the 18th, and it's a short week because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you have school, and then Monday, Tuesday, you're off for fall break. So you just have the short 3-day week, which is nice. After fall break, our final 3 weeks of class will actually take place from Monday to Friday instead of Wednesday to Tuesday, just because we only have 3 weeks until winter break and the dates didn't quite work out to do our normal Wednesday to Tuesday learning plan. So we're going back to our Monday to Friday plan, which I love, but it should be temporary, and then we'll go back to that Wednesday to Tuesday after the break. Okay, this week, make sure you've got 2 things to submit. You need to submit your reading quiz. So we actually have a reading quiz called Assess It, When Are You Really an Adult Comprehension Quiz. So you're going to read this article called When Are You Really an Adult? Then you're going to take a quiz, and that is a quiz grade. Then later in the week on Friday, you have a really short reading assessment where it's not a quiz grade, it's just a comprehension check worth 5 points. So you need to take that as well. Just a couple of quick questions about what vocabulary words in the story mean and what the main idea of the story is. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is actually want to talk about your week 12 dailies and go over a skill on the week 12 dailies. So first, I'm actually going to teach you about concrete nouns and concrete verbs. So on your week 12 dailies, there's a couple questions that ask you about concrete nouns and concrete verbs. So when I think concrete, I think something hard, like concrete, like something I can hold in my hand and feel and see and touch. All right. Just like if you stand on concrete, you can feel it on your feet. You can touch it. You can see it. You can even smell it if you want to. Something that's concrete is something tangible that you can hold in your hand. So a concrete noun is a noun that you can see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. An abstract noun, on the other hand, is something you can't see, hear, smell, touch, or taste. So it's a good question with a complex answer. So an abstract noun is like an idea, like love, or faith or identity. A concrete noun is going to be something you can hold in your hand, an object, for example. So also your dailies talk about concrete verbs. So, oops, I got a typo here. So a concrete verb is a verb or an action that shows a specific visible action, something that you could see happening. So these verbs, they help you envision what is actually happening in a text. So a word like is or seem, they're verbs, but they are not concrete verbs because you can't see that action happening. On the other hand, a word like collide or bubbled, like my drink, something bubbled up to the surface. That's a concrete verb because I can really envision that action taking place. So let's look at your week 12 dailies. So you have this passage, and it's about black holes. So let's go ahead and read this quickly. I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to read it to you. You maybe already read this yesterday. Just over 1 billion years ago, many millions of galaxies from here, a pair of black holes collided. They had been circling each other for eons in sort of a mating dance, gathering pace with each orbit, hurtling closer and closer. So again, if I'm looking at this first part, what is a concrete noun and what's a concrete verb? Well, hurtling, that is a concrete verb. I can almost see them moving through space. That's a verb, an action that I could see or that I could witness. Another one, collided, right? That's a concrete verb. So if I'm looking for concrete nouns, then I need to think about what are actual visible things that could be tangible. So galaxies would be a concrete noun, for example. A dance would be a concrete noun. All right, let's keep reading. By the time they were a few hundred miles apart, they were whipping around at nearly the speed of light, releasing great shudders of gravitational energy. Space and time became distorted like water at a rolling boil. Now, energy is not a concrete noun because I can't see it, but I could say that water, for example, is a concrete noun because it's tangible. In the fraction of a second that it took for the black holes to finally merge, they radiated 100 times more energy than all the stars in the universe combined. They formed a new black hole, 62 times as heavy as our sun and almost as wide across as the state of Maine. As it smoothed itself out, assuming the shape of a slightly flattened sphere, a few last quivers of energy escaped. Then space and time became silent again. So this passage is filled with a lot of concrete nouns and verbs. So your first sentence or your first question for the week, you have to write an objective summary. So just give a one sentence summary of what that passage was about. Make it concise. Second, you have to list some concrete nouns and some concrete verbs here in the box. Then, for your Friday question, Mrs. Spieler, one of our other amazing language arts teachers, she wrote a couple of sentences where she used concrete nouns and verbs because it really helps with that showing instead of telling, that imagery. Really helps you identify and visualize what you're reading about. So for your Friday question, what you have to do is you have to model that. You have to emulate that in your imitation set. So you have to copy this over here. You can copy this passage or you can copy Mrs. Spieler's passage. Doesn't need to be as long as either of those passages, but you need to write a couple sentences where you are using concrete nouns and verbs. So that's your week 12 dailies. Okay, so now we're going to go back to what else we need to do this week. So if I look at the week 12, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to read this "When Are You Really an Adult" article. And when you open this up, it's going to open up this article right here. It's really interesting. It talks about how we have different ages that are considered adult in the United States for different things. Like driving, for example, you have to be a certain age to be considered legally adult as a driver. Crime and punishment. There are some times when kids that are as young as 13 and 14 years old can go to an adult prison rather than a juvenile prison based on the severity of their crime. Like if you commit murder at age 13, you might be tried as an adult, even though legally in other ways we're not adults till we're 18 or till we're 21. So it's interesting that we have different definitions of adults in different areas in our culture and in our society. It's also going to talk about the draft, right? You can't drink alcohol until you're 21, but you can go fight for your country in the military at age 18 and lose your life doing that. So interesting how we do different definitions of what an adult is. So you're going to read through this article, which talks about the military draft, voting, crime and punishment, and driving, and when society considers you an adult. So take careful notes, read that carefully on your own. When you're done that, you're going to go to Buzz and you have two assignments that are connected to this. So one is the Assess It, When Are You Really an Adult Comprehension quiz, which is a multiple choice quiz where you're going to talk about some of the main ideas and what the author is doing in that passage. But then you actually have a discussion board. I'm going to open this for you. So in your discussion board, you have to make a discussion post, which is about a paragraph long, and then you also have to respond to someone else's. So here are your instructions. It says, read the article, "When Are You Really an Adult?" Think about the message the author's telling you and the questions that the author poses about that question. When are you really an adult? In the discussion post, you're going to pick one of the following questions to answer. You're not talking about all of these. You're going to pick one, two, or three. Number one, should women have to register for the draft? Number two, should juveniles be treated as adults for certain crimes? Number three, should the voting age be age 16? Okay, currently it's 18. Should it be more, older? Should it be younger? What do you think? Okay, then you're going to write a one paragraph response in which you share your opinion about the question you've chosen. In your response, be sure to cite evidence from the article and explain your reasoning thoroughly. You're welcome to find additional evidence online. You don't have to just stick to that article. You can go read more articles about it and get more evidence, but at least pick some evidence to support your ideas. Add your response to the discussion post by clicking the new thread button on the top left-hand corner up here. It's a plus sign, top left-hand corner of the page. Okay, finally, you must respond to one other person's comment in the thread by clicking on the black reply arrow to the right of another student's discussion post. Make sure that your response is meaningfully addressing what they say. So that means you can compliment them, question them, you can respectfully disagree with them, emphasis on respectfully, but don't just say good job. Don't just say I agree. Or don't just say I disagree. You need to comment and make a meaningful response that specifically discusses. Now, you don't have to just respond to people that answer the same question as you. You can respond to anybody. So what I did is I actually went to one of our 7th grade discussion posts because they've already done one recently, just to show you what it looks like. Let me make this a little bit bigger here, but just so you can see what it looks like, you will see everybody's discussions like in a thread, and theirs was like a little short one-liner, but yours will be longer. And then to the right, you can see a little reply arrow. So if you click on this black reply arrow over here, you can reply to one person. So I want you to reply to one person. So you're going to write a discussion post and you're going to reply to one person. Okay, when you're done with that, then you go back to Buzz. Okay, remember this is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So here's Wednesday, Thursday's your discussion post, and then Friday you're just doing this very short activity. You're reading a one-page nonfiction text about MMA fighters, and then you're going to do just a 5-question comprehension check. It is graded, but it's not a quiz grade. So just a quick little activity for you to continue practicing your comprehension skills. All right, so that's an overview of the week. Now you know how to complete the concrete noun and verb questions on your week 12 dailies. Guys, I will really miss you. I hope that you're wonderful for the substitute. Make sure that you participate when you go into breakout groups. I expect that you have your cameras on. I have told him that as well. So remember that you get out of class what you bring to it. So those of you that have emerged as leaders that lead discussion, I'm so proud of you. And those of you that have been a little bit more shy, now's your time. Now's your time to jump in and participate and have a good time with it. So be good for the substitute. You guys will really like him. He's an awesome guy. I will see you guys in mid-January. I will miss you. Have a wonderful last week before fall break. And then I hope you guys really have some time to just relax and decompress during the break and have some wonderful time just with yourself and with your families and whoever else. Okay, have a great day, and I will see you guys in January.